This is definitely one of the greatest fights in One Piece. Hello, One Piece enthusiasts, I'm the One Piece nerd. Today, let's talk about One Piece chapter 1181. And just as we left off at the previous chapter, Loki versus Emu is turning out to be one of the best fights in the entirety of One Piece. And Loki putting up a fight with someone of the caliber of Emu and pissing him off is a big feat, considering I could say right now, Emu is probably the strongest being in the verse. Like, I don't see anyone being on top of him. Because remember, Luffy's faced off Kaido and Big Mom. Luffy's seen Shanks' haki. He was never terrified. He's also seen Joy Boy's haki. Yes, he was stunned, but when Emu came into Elbaf, and now that Luffy's reaction to him eating more food, trying to comprehend Emu's power, Luffy is actually terrified. Like, he doesn't show it because it's Luffy, but he's scared and he wants to prepare for the worst. This shows Emu is clearly one of the top contenders in One Piece. And we can move on from this with the idea of what is wrong with Emu. Because Emu right now is going through phases that I believe is very contradicting to his character. Like, one minute he doesn't recognize Nidog, and the next minute he does, and it reminds him of Nidog. This situation is very complicated. Now, one of the best ways to probably put it is that Emu is 800 or plus years old, and he's probably going through some memory issues or whatever. He's having flashbacks, and that's what makes him react differently to very similar circumstances. And another thing that I've seen pointed out by other YouTubers is that Emu, when using domi-reverse versus when Emu is there on the field, is very different. The way Emu views the world. Like, look, if Emu knew who offed Herald, who finished Herald while he was in domi-reverse, it's easy to understand that it's Loki, but Emu apparently doesn't know that. So maybe it's like a blind mind control device. Rather than Emu being able to see it, Emu's just commanding the puppet to do whatever he wants it to do, rather than seeing and controlling every movement. I think that's how domi-reverse does work, and now we see the difference. Now we probably know what domi-reverse actually does. Now let's move on to a very interesting topic, that is devils and gods. I just recently watched the newest episode where Zoro, Luffy, and the others are getting out of the whatever puppet show by Road, and Usopp calls Road a god, while Sanji or Zoro calls it devil. And in this chapter, we see Emu break character and start screaming when Loki mentions that you're a devil, not a god. And Emu says the devil and the god are basically the same thing. Now, and it's referenced back to Joy Boy. Now, we've always been arguing that ever since the script was written, we saw the Harley. We saw that maybe the potential of Joy Boy being good guy versus Emu being a bad guy isn't that black and white. In fact, there must be a lot of things wrong with Joy Boy that led Emu to this path, and especially after the panel, we saw Joy Boy and Emu laughing together. Well, Joy Boy laughing, we don't know what Emu was doing, but they acted like friends. So Joy Boy isn't someone who has a clean slate. Now, there's issues there's story behind that, we can speculate. that somewhere along the line Joy Boy went off. And again, I go back to Doflamingo's famous line of power has a short shelf life, and power is like it corrupts people. We've seen it time and time again. Maybe Joy Boy at one point did have everything, but then something went wrong. And then two ideologies were born, one with the Joy Boy and the other was with Emu. Now, Emu seemed to be, it's entirely possible that Emu's view is very distorted. The same way Kings and Kaidos, everyone who wanted to be Joy Boy, had their views distorted, and it's entirely possible that Emu's view over the last 800 years has been distorted as well. And leaving that aside, something happened where Joy Boy maybe had the power of the god, but maybe because of Joy Boy, devil fruits were born. We don't exactly know who the creator of the devil fruit was. Yeah, Emu has the power of the devil, but the devil fruit is completely different. Maybe Emu, being the devil, can grant powers the way he does to the Gorosei. But then Joy Boy, maybe with his imagination and desires coming into reality, created devil fruits. And devil fruits probably weren't the names of it, but then maybe the idea of a god and the devil being the same thing is that they both have unlimited powers, and there are three categories Emu states that someone should have to attain godhood or devil or to conquer. It doesn't seem like something a god would do. It would seem something like a devil would do. The point I'm trying to make is the Will of D has been a very speculative topic, and we don't know what the D stands for. We used to think D used to stand for smile or something, but now it seems entirely possible that the D clan were probably related to devils. And if devils and gods are the same, and Emu says that gods and devils are the same, and devil fruits were created by Joy Boy or the people of the D clan, the Will of D or the desires D for desire as well, if all of these do come together, don't you guys think it's entirely possible that D will stand for devil? And in fact, the way we're viewing One Piece, the way we view Emu and Joy Boy and the Will of D in the Ancient Kingdom is completely the opposite of what we were thinking about. Now that's a question to think about, but this chapter overall had a lot of interesting points. We have a break week. I'll probably make a more deeper dive into the Will of D, or maybe even the whole aspect of a god in the world of One Piece. We'll get to that when we get to that. That's it for the video, guys. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a great day, and peace.